Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. So, Ava Jerome continues to be the scumbag slash snake that, at this point is just disappointing. And it's disappointing not because we don't need a character like that, right? It's disappointing because it doesn't even really, in a long run, serve her best interests, right? So Sonny's not there explaining what wound up happening with Dex and Jason and, how Christina saw everything. And, Ava just tries to do her best to downplay a lot of stuff, blame Dex, blame Jason, actually sat there and say, yeah, this is all Jason's fault, Yeah, you're right. And I'm just like, this man's life is falling apart. And the only thing you care about is what you want, right? And it's not just, that in itself is just a scumbagish thing to sit there and do. But the fact of the matter is, this guy flew off the handle on Dex. Now, it's not to sit there and say that he would with Avery, but he's in a very volatile state. And he's around your daughter. Like, what are you doing at this point? And after Carly has a meeting with Anna for reasons that I don't really understand. I know it had a lot to do with Brennan, and it's not just saying that he, stabbed himself, and he said that he did it so this way he could see Carly. But I didn't even really understand what was the point of actually bringing Carly into that whole meeting to sit there and say, "Oh, Brennan is out, and he probably did it on purpose to see you." What was the point of that? Because that seemed like that was more of a phone conversation. I didn't really understand what was that supposed to do. Anyway, after she sees her, she goes to Sonny's place. And, once again, she's like, hey, listen, we have this conversation somewhere else. Like, she doesn't, I really want to have this conversation in front of her. But Sonny's all like, oh, no, she knows everything. And Ava, being the opportunist that she is, just decides to just literally stick around and just be nosy. Just instead of her being in the corner, just lurking like a creep, now she's just going to be like, okay. So, Sonny sits there and tries to play down some of the stuff, like, oh, Christina saw it, and, she got a little twisted or whatever, but it's going to be fine. And Carly's like, what are you talking about? You beat a man half to death, and you threatened to end his life. Why are you downplaying this for? And, Sonny being off his meds is stupid paranoid. She was like, yeah, it was Dex's fault. It was Jason's fault. Jason was holding me and everything like that. And it got me angry and just, made me say these things. And Carly's like, so now it's Jason's fault. What happens when you run out of traitors? And it's really funny. I could have swore, and I could be wrong, I could have swore Dante said the same thing. Clearly, this conversation was just not going nowhere. So at that point, she was like, yeah, I'm out. She said what she had to say. And, once again, Ava's there just adding gasoline to the fire. Oh, who does Carly think she is, Hold on, what does she say? Oh, she tells Sonny that Carly wants him to be estranged from all of his family at this point. And I'm just like, wow, Eva. It's like every day she finds a way to sit there and just lower the bar at this point. So after Dex sees Christina, and Christina kind of apologizes for feels like she's pressuring him to not say anything, and Dex is like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but just take care of you and the baby. He leaves. He goes to Anna. And Anna sees his eye, and Anna's like, yo, what happened? So Dex tells her everything. The Sonny attacking him, Jason saving him, Christina seeing the whole thing. And he's like, if I don't tell, like if I don't report this, am I going to be tarnishing the badge? And some of the stuff that Anna said was just completely and utterly ass backwards. And it just makes me, I'm just like, is there a particular reason why we picked this chick to be the commissioner? Just wondering. Because what she doesn't sit there and tell him is that it's going to look bad. Like, Dexter's like, do you think that the other officer is going to sit there and think I'm some sort of turncoat or whatever? He's like, no, 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 no. I was like, yes, 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 they will. If you do not report this crime and they find out, they're going to be like, oh, he's covering for his boss. Yeah, I knew this guy was a traitor. And the fact that that was not her go-to thing to sit there and say, seeing how he was already sitting there getting iced out from all the cadets so far, you would sit there and think, yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. But no. Now she does lay out, hey, listen, let's just sit there and say that he does go to jail for 18 months or whatever. That's going to be a lot of pressure on the family, on Christina. And so, bottom line, and something else she was like, and this is also just not a good time to really come at the Sonny, but it's your choice. I don't want to, after she says what she says, she's like, I just didn't want you to sit there and think that I was trying to pressure you into not turning Sonny in. It's exactly what you end up doing. That's literally what you wind up doing throughout this whole goddamn conversation. Is that you are literally pressuring him, subjectively, like gently pressuring him, or persuading him, I would say, to not turn Sonny in. And I'm just like, what are you doing? You want to be all hard on Sonny and everything like that, and act like the stuff that happened, the stuff that wound up saving you and helping you out and stuff like that wasn't a factor anymore. You was just like, I paid my debt. You have an opportunity to sit there and put Sonny in jail. At the very least, you're not showing leniency, no matter how long he's going to be in jail for. That was your whole goal when you were just like, oh, we ain't friends anymore. And in the first chance that you actually have that he actually wound up doing crime, you're just like, you know what, now's not a good time to go after Sonny. What? So we just going to turn a blind eye at this point? What, Jack Brennan is just that much more important? You can't delegate? None of that makes sense. It really does not make sense. It just makes her look stupid. Ned and Lois practically served no purpose in this episode. I don't understand what they were there for. Um, you know, I'll say this much. So Brooklyn came in there and hugged Ned and was just like, hey, listen, I appreciate you, value you, and I love you. Right? Yesterday, when I was getting ready for my live stream, I'm writing my notes and everything like that, my dad calls, right? And normally during this time, it's a little kind of crucial because it's like, last minute. It's like, well, not really last minute, but it's like I'm making sure I have all my notes prepared for the live stream, right? And I see my dad calling me. I pick up and everything. And it was one of those things where it's like seeing Chase and Finn not having as much time as they thought they would have with their dad made me appreciate that conversation, made me appreciate that call a lot more. So if I learned nothing else from General Hospital, it's pretty much just appreciate the people when you have them. And it was just one of those things where it's like the episode happened, my dad calls, and I'm just like, it dawned on me, you know. And I think that was the overall message that they was that you're trying to give, but like in all reality, it was like, you really were not needed today. Gio was not needed today. They just have him show up. Also, just like really trying to add more. Here's the thing. I get that they need fresh blood and everything like that. Could you just get rid of some more people before you decide to add some new people in there? Just wild thought. So Finn is going through it. And Liz is like, hey, listen, this little girl needs you right now, and Finn is getting super defensive and brings up Hayden, talking about she walked out on us, and I've been taking care of her ever since, this, that, and the third. Which, by the way, was really, really sloppy, right? I mean, what is going on with Hayden? Is she dead? Is she just an absentee deadbeat mom? Like, what's the story? I mean, I felt like they made it like that, like they crafted that story like that in the hopes of actually getting the actress to come back. And for some odd reason, they couldn't. Reasons unknown, and they just kind of left it open ended. But the problem with something like that is like, what are you gonna do with that? You know? Anyway, he's just like, hey, listen, I want to drink. You either going to sit there and hang out with my daughter, make friendship bracelets, or you can get to stepping. He goes to the door, he opens it up, he's like, what do you want to do? So she goes outside, she calls Chase. Chase from Brooklyn comes over. Brooklyn sits with Violet. Chase asks Finn what happened, step by step. And part of me is like, do you really think it's a good idea to rehash everything that wound up happening? Like, just to make him relive that whole thing over again? But he tells everything from the beginning, which is pretty sad, by the way. And he also listened to saying, yeah, he was drinking. You know. Now, I feel that that first oopsie daisy drink was still just stupid to me. Like it didn't really make a lot of sense. This makes sense, right? If you would have sat there and picked up that bottle and started drinking from that point, I would have been like, that makes sense. Um, what else happened? So Alexis's trial begins, and she's going up against Neil's brother. But for some odd reason, his name still just escaped me. I should probably learn his name at some point. But a couple of things that she did make, she did sit there and say was that she, well, one of the things that she said was that the whole system, the way that they came at her was just very biased. Like, yeah, okay, you were on the opposing team, you left, but then you appointed your friend, right? And right then and there, that's just kind of you accuse yourself of conflict of interest, but then you appoint somebody who is your friend. So that just looks sketchy in general. Um, of something about a notice or whatever, I didn't really understand that. But one of the things she wanted to know was who was her accuser. And at first, he wouldn't sit there and say, but the judges or whatever asked, and they said it was Ava. So now it just kind of just throws a whole monkey wrench into her whole plan, her whole defense and everything. Now I feel like she's gonna somehow get her license back. I don't know how. I can't I can't imagine her losing this case and then going back to I can't imagine her going back to being the editor in chief. I just I can't see that happening. I'm not saying there's not a possibility. I just don't see that happening. So whatever's going to end up happening, and she's gonna have to sit there and pull out a Hail Mary. But between Alexis and Diane, no, I think it's possible. Now I feel like that's about it. I can't think of anything else. But if I forgot anything, you know what to do. Come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll sit there and talk about all the shows, General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, Young and Restless, and I will see you in the next video.